All right, guys, we're here for the League of Superheroes recap for Week 8 of the fantasy season here. Um, let's take a quick look at the previous matchups this week, the ones that have just happened. Um, bear with me because it is Halloween and there are people ringing doorbell, which may make my dog go crazy. So sorry if that's what happens. Um, I'll just try to talk over. There's nothing I can do. Um, so let's just go into this first game between me and Mo. We are now both 3-5. I'm going the right way with 2 wins in a row, and Mo is going the opposite with 2 losses in a row. The trade that I just made really helped me out with Watson scoring 31, and getting 11 points out of Collins, which is for me great because I'm used to not getting much out of my second running back at all. Some games I don't get anything on my running backs because Lamar Miller has not been the most explosive player, but he's had a really nice last 2 games, so that's good for me. Thielen has just been incredible. His 19-point performance this week was actually his lowest scoring game since week 3, which was 17. So that's in how great he's been this year. Mo didn't have a bad week at all. He scored 122 points, usually good enough to win you, I would say 7 out of 10 times, maybe 8 in this league. Tariq Cohen has been great for him recently, as well as Tyler Boyd, another really good. I think he picked him up, I believe. Yeah, he picked him up for $5. Pretty good investment. Nothing he could have really done on the bench. Yeah, nothing. So, and just had a good week, but not good enough because I scored. I believe I was the highest scoring team this week. Yes, I am. So let's move on to Fawad and George. Fawad is firmly in first place now with a 7-1 record. Our faithful commish right here. Gurley again. I mean, it's unbelievable what Gurley has done. He is in historic territory, and he's averaging 28 points per game. That's insanity. It's complete insanity. James White has been amazing for him. He's the 7th-ranked running back. He's just been a great draft pick. Where did he get him? Got him in the 11th round. Got him as probably his 4th, maybe or 5th bench player. And big game out of Evans as well for him. So he scored 125 and won. George 105 and lost. Finally started to catch up with him a little bit. Not as lucky this week. He has lost 2 games in a row with Fawad winning 2 as well. Demaryius Thomas has been traded, so hopefully for George that means he will get a couple. That'll help him out a little bit. Be interesting to see. I was looking to pick up Cortland Sutton in free agency, and George is 1 step ahead of me by already having him. There's a chance I might have drafted him in this league. Yes, I did draft him. And I just got impatient. And George picked him up at the right time. Yeah, not really much to say about George's team this week. His 3rd highest scoring player was his kicker. So Howard Johnson had decent games as well as Stephon Diggs. I'm trying to think if there's anything he could have done. No, I don't think so. I mean, he could have started Latavius Murray over John Brown, but that would not have made up the difference. So that is that game. Bill, our defending champ, drops to 1-7. He has lost 6 games in a row, unfortunately for him. He made a big trade with me. See what anything. Landry did not put up much of a fight in this game at all. I mean, the Browns are in shambles. Hopkins remains his best player by far. He's got ravaged by the Michelle and Fournette injuries. Kenyon Barner, I mean, it's almost impossible to figure out what the Patriots were going to do that game. It was worth a shot. Um, for Hassan, he gets back on the winning side. He goes to 5-3. Good solid week from him at 117 points. Pretty consistent around the board. I mean, Goff had a really good game. Antonio Brown, Green, and this was with I mean, he benched Ingram, and he had a decent game as well. I mean, he started Sterling Shepard, so other than these couple spots down here, I mean, he's really was consistent. And Breda, I guess, hurt again. I don't know. I'm not really sure what happened with him. Um, so hopefully for him, he'll have, Breda will be okay because doesn't really have much depth with running backs. Eckler is okay, um, but Breda is definitely a big part of his team when he's healthy. Um, Wendell Smallwood, good pickup for him, a good start at 13 points. Good job by him. There's nothing that Bill could have done, and our defending champ is 1-7, unfortunately. Um, Surprising, very surprising. I mean, he does have a bad team. Um, JD versus SN. SN gets back on the winning side and evens his record to 4-4. And JD has gone the wrong way and has lost 3 games in a row. His running back situation is starting to catch up to him a little bit with Morris and Hyde. I mean, Hyde being traded appeared to be a good thing for him, but if that was an indication of how it's going to go, I mean, that's not great. Lockett, Nelson. I mean, it's nothing to say other than I can't even point out one good player. He only had 62 points. This is not me trying to bash him. I'm just trying to find something to be positive about. I don't know. I mean, he did have Julio on a bye, so that did affect things, but he wasn't going to make up uh, roughly 58 points, something like that. SN had a really good week at 118. This was with his best player on a bye. Second best. I mean, James Conner has been really good this year. He's probably his best player. James Conner, 35 points. He is the 3rd ranked running back. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? I should have because I drafted Bell, and that's what I thought Le'Veon Bell was going to be, and that's what I was going to do to draft him just in case. But SN drafted him in the 13th, and I was looking to get him in the 14th. I did not think anyone was going to take him, but SN made the right move there. That was a really good move by him. Fitz and McCoy, 2 of his higher picks on his bench, and really he was not really been carried by his top picks this season. I mean, he's had Zeke, who's had a solid year for him. I mean, not as what he expected drafting him that early, but he's still. I mean, I'd rather have him than Le'Veon Bell, obviously. And but I mean, McCoy he drafted I think pretty early in the second round. It says second pick. And Fitzgerald was probably his 4th round pick. His 3rd. So those are 3 players who have not really played that well this year, and he's still 4-4. Managed a 4-4 record based off of good drafting in the later rounds. I mean, Peterson, Connor, Schuster's had a good year, and he did not have a good game that game. All around, I mean, Thompson's had his games. Brait has had a couple startable weeks. Not really. But good late drafting by SN makes you think if you hit on a couple of those early ones, maybe you would be one of the top teams in the league. But I think. Not sure. I think he's just on the outside looking at the playoffs. We'll take a look. I know for a fact is Kaleem is our 6th team in the playoffs. It'll be interesting. I have an interesting point on that later. He scored 124 points. He's the team that everyone is trying to catch to in the points race, including me. And I scored 130 points, thinking I would be able to make up some ground on this guy, but still had another solid week with Keenan Allen and Dion Lewis on his bye. He was hurt by Will Fuller being out to out for the year now. I mean, he had a really good last game for him though, so at least he got that out of him, and he's being helped possibly by Tate being traded to the Eagles. You know, I go either way on that. I think, I mean, his last couple of games obviously has not done well, but he was always solid for Detroit. So maybe, hopefully he'll be able to step in and just not miss a beat with Wentz. I mean, that could be a really good trade for him, but also I could see it where they lack chemistry and he's ineffective for a little while. But we'll see. His two awesome backs of Barkley and Mixon have really helped him out this year. Mixon, when he's healthy, has been great. I mean, Mixon has missed 2 games, and he's still a top, basically the best running back 2 you could have, because in our league, a running back 1 would be the top 12. He's the 13th. But I view him as an RB1. Wentz has had has a good resurgence the last 5 weeks. And he beats Yates' team, who is now 5-3. Oh yeah, by the way, Khalil has won 3 games in a row. To think this team was 1-4 at one point is crazy. Yeah, I mean he had Gordon on his bye that really hurt. But the players he put in for him, I mean, they did pretty well. He just kind of got screwed over by his tight end situation. I'm trying to think. I don't see anyone on his bench, so I'm assuming he had someone else and maybe got hurt, because I don't see anyone else on his bench that is tight end. So I'm assuming he's going to go into this season with Uzom. I can't say this dude's name. So I'm not going to try as this dude as his starter. So McCaffrey, I mean, Mahomes been great. Obviously, I mean, awesome, great. I mean, he's been the first ranked quarterback for a while, for basically the entire season. Carson has been great when he's been playing. Makes you wonder why Seattle took Rashad Penny, who I don't think even was considered a first-round prospect in the first round when they already had Carson and even someone like Mike Davis. I mean, look at their team. They have a lot more holes than at running back, so it just makes you scratch your head a little bit. In our last game, Gunslinger, who's come alive, me and him are essentially in the same position, where we started both 1-5. We made last 2 weeks have been probably 2 of our highest scoring weeks, and now we're in the same spot with 3-5 records, right on the outside looking into the playoffs. He has had a very good last 2 weeks. Hunt, Kerryon Johnson, solid running backs for him. Wide receivers still a little weak. I mean, Jeffrey's, someone who, I would always want on my team. I mean, he's had a bad game this game, but had 3 of the last 4 weeks where he was probably in the wide receiver 1 conversation. Ertz has been awesome this year, first ranked tight end. I did not like Ertz going the year, so I was definitely misread that. Patriots D was a great start, and hopefully for him it was a great start, because I believe he spent $16 for this defense just for basically a 1-week start, I think. Yeah, because they play Green Bay, and then I mean you could start him against Tennessee, maybe, but he definitely wanted that. I mean, that's what ended up. Spent $16 for a win, essentially, because that 17 points from the defense was the difference. It was a good spending spree by him. AK had had a solid week. He just couldn't pull it through. I mean, Breeze only scoring. Essentially, the story of this game was that Breeze only had 6.8 points, which is surprising because I was watching that game and you would think he had more, but it was really the running attack from Kamara and Ingram. Trying to think of any. I mean, he had Ridley on a bye. Anything else? No, I mean, this is Peyton Barber over Chubb. Didn't do anything. I don't think he could have done anything in this. Chubb, really good pickup. He's been pretty good. I mean, I wish I had him on my team. I need a running back. Marlon Mack has been amazing since he's come back. It screwed me over in another league. He played against him and got nuked by Marlon Mack. Never would have thought that. Never thought I would say that. But that's how my fantasy season's been going on so far. Take a look at the standings. It's pretty clear cut actually this week, and I actually for the first time can use the projected playoff bracket because that's actually accurate. But just looking from the standings, we have Fawad in first place. This is in no particular order. We have a couple of 5-3 teams with George, Hassan, Yates, AK. That's your 5 based off a record, and 4-4, or basically the next highest scoring team is Kaleem at 4-4. And just take a look at this. This is what it would have been either, if the season ended today. I mean, there would not have been any difference if we kept it true to our previous playoff format. This is basically the same thing. It is the same. The top 5 teams are record, and then the 6th team, he is the highest scoring 4-4 team. So this is how the playoffs would look right now if we end the season. These are your 6 playoff teams. We'll take a quick look at how far away everyone is in points to Kaleem. I did some looking at this. I believe Gunn is the closest to Kaleem. Kaleem has 916. The next highest scoring team that is not currently in the playoffs is, I think it is Raheel at 897. And I am literally 2 points away from that at 895. Now that changes week to week. I really wish I made up more ground. I'm sure Gunn is the same way. On a week that we both scored, in the high 120s, and I was the highest at 131. We wish we closed more of a gap, but Kaleem scored 124 and still keeps a firm but not completely stranglehold of this this lead, the 6 for the last playoff spot. We are both only basically essentially 20 points behind. So that could obviously change week to week and easily could change next week. Bill still leads his division in points, even though he's 1-7. It's just insane. George is only 20 points behind that. I mean, that's fantasy football right there. I mean, I keep mentioning this, but George 5-3 had 812 points, and Bill at 1-7 with 832. So, trying to think of anything else that we can look at. We are now more than halfway. We have 5 weeks left. 5 weeks left in the regular season. Here are your matchups going into week 9. Some really good matchups. I mean, this is a very important week for everyone, obviously. 2 5-3 teams going at it. Fawad and Bill, 7-1, 1-7. Important game for me and SN as well. Mo trying to stay in the thick of things at 3-5. So this is going to be interesting week. Another 2 5-3 teams with AK and Hassan. So I think that's it, guys. I mean, here's your standings one more time. Starting to heat up. Really starting to heat up. We're getting to territory now where 5 weeks left. Every game matters. So hope everyone has a really good week, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a happy Halloween.